Okay. Hopefully. There it is. There it is. Nova, Nova, Nova. Do that. Whoa, whoa, whoa. They started early. Ah! Oh, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Oh, fuck. Ah, fuck. Ah, 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 ah! Shareable link, shareable link. Reacting to Nova live right now. Get in here. Reacting to Nova live right now. Get your asses in here. Ah! Ah! Oh god.
Goblin lineman, humble.
Oh!
There to
Hello, chat! Hello!
Less interesting
Look!
parts of
Chaos Dwarfs and Blood Bowl!
Get punched, move the ball around the
We
field.
got
We've also got a new
Chaos Dwarf Blood Bowl team!
Stabber, and they fulfill the role
hello! Hi!
follow important players around and stick the
Don't they look fun?
Amazing, awesome. That's
we get to play that game of chicken where we try and
have purely just been there to get punched and
yeah, it gives a chance.
Hello, strange person. Goodbye forever, strange person.
But sometimes goblins have great designs of grandeur and this ideal of them becoming stars of Blood Bowl, but we know who the stars of Blood Bowl are, and when it comes to the Chaos Dwarf teams, it's the Chaos Dwarfs.
Speaking of the Chaos Dwarfs, then Jay,
hello.
Two different
GW started early
within the set by the look of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
How have I been? I've been
classic Chaos Dwarf blocker.
I've been okay. My internet got really bad for a bit, but it's all better now. Oh, look at them! They look really good.
Chaos Dwarf Flamesmiths. Which
Chaos Star's coming back to Blood Bowl. Huge, awesome.
They use like alchemical solutions, which they'll
drink to
spit fire.
I love that there's fire drinkers. That's really fun.
They love
Look at that, that's really cool.
You defeat the Skaven attacking the
I
internet.
did. I defeated the Skaven. Unfortunately, I defeated the Skaven just in time for them to go and assault Andy instead. So y'all don't understand the timing of events. It literally went. My internet was exploding, dying, like it would turn off and on basically every little bit on until Monday. I got it fixed on Monday, and then I think Tuesday morning Andy's internet immediately started dying. Oh, that Bull Centaur looks good. Oh look, Andy's in YouTube chat. Hi Andy.
Tactics in the offing for the Chaos Dwarf team.
Unfortunately, yeah, there is a dark power that does not want Andy and I talking about the old ones, and this dark power is proven to be a worthy opponent because, to be frank, it's been kicking our asses for about a week.
Skin, as all Chaos Dwarfs now do, and that is a chance for us to update.
Blood Bowl has such pretty minis. Like, they've been doing a really good job with the new Blood Bowl season.
Chaos Dwarfs to ignore any modifiers to their armor roll, so it's not just ignoring claws; it'll ignore Mighty Blow, anything like that.
Yeah, I completely forgot they were doing Nova today. Okay, thank you so much for the 26 months. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the support.
Prime sub is what my grinder profile says as well, Pog.
The thing I like about the new season of Blood Bowl is they've added new team members. Like, I really like that the new Lizardman team, for instance, it's not just, oh, Saurus, Skink, Crocscore. It's Saurus, Skink, Crocscore, and Chameleon Skink. Like, they've been adding like one or two new positions with every team that you don't have to use, but if you do use, they look really, they work well. So like Chaos Dwarfs have flame spitters. Wrong streaming category. Thank you.
As a diehard halfling
Hold on.
player back in the day, I've had too many horror stories of getting beaten up by Chaos Dwarfs. So
What am I on right now? Oh, okay.
Tree man to punch all the Chaos Dwarfs is going to be less reliable than ever.
Thank you. Fix that.
Okay, well, real from that, all of this information.
Okay, we just have to make sure that we mute whenever they pull up a new subject, because these doofuses like to use copyrighted music, even though Games Workshop actually owns a lot of their own music that they could use, but they don't. Oh, there's 2 different Bull Centaur. Could you have two Bull Centaurs on a team now?
The infamous Hobgoblin team, for those fans who have been around for a while. We'll also see 3-star player spotlights covering some of the biggest names in Chaos Dwarf Blood Bowl, as well as
they used to be a big guy, but I wonder if they're less of a big guy now and more of a like mummy equivalent.
It's all really exciting. I can't wait to see him on the ground.
Thought you could always have 2? Maybe. I in the video game, I only played in the video game. Oh yeah, you're right. No, you could have a Minotaur and 2 Bull Centaurs. That's right. Okay, so we have to mute when they do the story bits. Okay, so we've seen all the new Skaven. Like, we can turn the volume back on once it's them talking, but we have to turn it off when they do this part, because otherwise we get in trouble. Ooh, new terrain? Wow, that's a big terrain piece. Holy lord. Yeah, Tornus the Redeemed, we've seen that. He's a really cool character. Tornus has been around since 1st edition, but only just got a model. Oh, are they bringing back the okay. Oh, yep, Stormstrike Paladrors. Okay, so they're bringing back a lot of the minis they canceled. Lord Imperatant. So they got rid of the oh, that's a cool Lord Celestant. Wow, oh, wow, they're re-releasing a lot of minis. Okay, Lord Relictor got a new mini. Ooh, that Griffin has an Executioner's head. That's a cool monster. I like the bird. That's a cool monster.
By Matt and Phil from the Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Talk about the aftermath of the
so that's interesting. All of those minis are discontinued minis that have gotten refreshed, so they're not re-releasing them. They got updated, which is really nice. Some of those look a lot better. Why would Chaos Dwarfs take a Minotaur? Could they do that in the lore? They couldn't Blood Bowl lore, and I think maybe if you went back far enough. So these used to be the I think, did they get rid of these in current Stormcast? The old like Griff writers. I can't remember if they got rid of those or not. Those look really nice though. They're like lean demigriffs. But yeah, actually I think that'd be a better question for Andy of how far back do you have to go for Chaos Dwarfs to take Minotaurs. I don't. The Lord Relictor getting a basic model is really nice. He has not had an easy to get model for like fucking ever. What do I think of the new Chaos Old World lore? I don't know if I've seen it yet. Have they said anything? If they've released anything, I've missed it. Because the only thing I've heard is that Galraksh is going to be one of the big characters. And yes, they have. Oh, I haven't seen it yet. Warcom article from yesterday. Let me pull that up. We can talk about that when they get into 40K. Ooh. I do like the new Stormcast minis. Overall, they look really good. Oh yeah, Old World Almanac, Chaos in the Old World. Hold on. Let me wait until they're showing like 40K stuff that I don't care about, and then I'll read it.
Oh yeah, and you know, fun to use and nice synergy with that brand new Ruination Chamber, which is expanding with a few more options to bring into play.
Yeah, I knew the other character was a woman, yeah. So, like, it's a woman in Galrach. I knew that. And that was pretty much all we knew. I will read this as soon as they're done talking about things I actually care about.
A really fully fledged chamber with interesting synergies within it, interesting
The new I like the new Stormcast. Like, their proportions look a lot better, and I also like how diverse and weird they look.
pretty elite level.
I quite like how odd many of them look now.
To remind them of what it is to be human.
Such a great image, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know,
it gives great scale.
it's the thing that I find interesting about it is it's clearly like what Space Marines were meant to be, but just aren't. But their proportions look really nice.
So many times. They're going into
Why won't the fishmen, Biofoot, thank you very much for the super chat. Why won't the fishmen allow Lorebeards to air? It's an outrage and a scandal because the fishmen understandably hate the old ones. They hate the old ones for what the old ones did to their planet. They hate the old ones for destroying their civilization and casting them into ruin and all that other stuff. So they don't feel that we should talk about. They feel very strongly we should not be allowed to talk about the old ones because how dare we? How dare we? But we must. We must. This, you can convert this so easy into a kick-ass White Lion character. Like, you can take that. I mean, that's a really nice model. You could so easily take that Stormcast model and make that into, like, a high elf prince or princess of Krace. Like, god damn, that's a really fun-looking lion model.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's
a beautiful kit as well, and as you said, lots of fun options, and you kind of just customize it to really make your own Lord Celestine.
That's fantastic. Speaking of sort of characters and things that have existed around since that first iteration, I remember learning way back in time about Torglug, and he's been on a journey, and we now have Tornus the Redeemed, just an incredible looking.
Tornus is fun.
What can you say about Tornus?
So Tornus is really interesting.
Does he have legs? I don't see his legs.
Realmgate Wars, really. He's one of the first characters we got to know. His backstory is...
Good evening, how are you? I'm good. I literally, if you can't tell, this was a very last-second stream because I totally forgot Nova was today.
So hard and he held out for so long, but eventually Nurgle got him. But he was redeemed by Galmaraz, so there was still a bit of goodness in him. Then we forged that into Tornus the Redeemed.
Oh, there's his feet.
We've seen his character evolve even more, and he is now a leader.
I prefer him with the helmet on. I'm gonna be honest, but
for the good of his brothers, and he's become a Knight of Zeros. He takes the light of Sigmar to guide the lost.
He looks good. It's nice to see Tornus getting a model.
I'm all about a good redemption arc. Just a fantastic journey. The kit doesn't just make Tornus Redeemed, though. It also makes a standard Knight of Zeros. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. The standard Knight of Zeros has a little bit more synergy directly with the prosecutors. You know, kind of flying in, supporting them with that wing. So both really fun options. I love I love Tornus's whole arc, and just seeing that realized on the tabletop is really fun.
So obviously,
why is that a better Sanguinor than the Sanguinor we actually got? I don't know. You know, funny enough, it's weird. Granted. My opinion does not matter because everybody knows that I just don't care for 40k really at all, particularly Space Marines. But it is funny sitting in the back and like looking over at the Space Marine releases and being like, ugh. And then looking over at the Stormcast Eternals releases and going, oh, those are really nice. Like, wow, those guys look really good over there. And then you look over at the Space Marine ones, you go, what are they doing? Did Games Workshop forget how to make Space Marines?
The game has a lot of movement aspects to it. Claiming objectives is huge. So
not that it matters, because like I feel like Games Workshop could literally 3D print a turd and slap Space Marine on it and put it up for sale, and it would still like sell out because Space Marine fans are just everywhere. That is a really interesting monster. Like
that poor unfortunate was pleading for an end, and Eridan gave it to them with essentially a magic axe, and that has given them the gift of oblivion. Now Sigmar wanted an answer as to why that happened, and Eridan ended up talking to Sigmar himself about this and pleaded their case so eloquently and so well that actually it is now a formally recognized thing that can happen in the Ruination Chambers, and the Order of Lord Terminus has come to be as a result of Eridan They keep the memories and the sagas and the war histories of all those.
Wait, he executes Stormcast Eternals to like perma-kill them.
They are a moral compass for the Ruination Chambers, and naturally they bring vengeance to chaos. On
that is super interesting.
Striking like a bolt from the blue. So we've got a really great active character.
I think it's a griffin. It's got a really interesting head shape for a griffin.
Has a separate component, right?
Yeah, and absolutely. So you can also build this kit as a Lord Vigilant on Morgriff as well.
Oh, I much prefer it without the hood. Ooh, without the hood, it looks so good. I don't like the hood. I would definitely do no hood. That's a really good-looking griffin mini, though.
Kind of classic commander for your Ruination Chamber. Also,
that's fascinating. A, love the alternate kits. Looks really good and nice. B, I'm a little sad that this is a Stormcast monster and not a Free Cities monster. But that's a really, really nice looking griffin mini.
Abilities that they can use.
Or a Morgriff. A Morgriff, sorry.
For the army as a
More reference? Yeah.
Certainly no slave.
There's been a lot of lore. I don't want to talk about it like right now. But there's been a lot of really interesting lore I've been reading in the new AOS edition. And at the very end of last edition.
Coming up next, we'll be joined by Ben from the Warhammer 8. The future roadmap.
Oh, future roadmap for Age of Sigmar. Okay.
So Ben, it's obviously been a really big
Hold on.
for Age of Sigmar.
This is interesting. Hold on. Is that a purple sun pillow? I want that.
Crusade, and those build-up books that took us into Scaventide and the brand new edition.
Dawnbreaker Crusade was a really good series. It was a great series. I just finished reading the second to last book, which was way better than I thought it was going to be. The second to last book was actually quite good. So I've still got the last book to read, and then I got to read the new core book.
Single one. I have a few that I play. So I've just booked into an event actually where you can bring 5 different ones and play 5 games throughout the event, and then aggregate your scores. Yeah,
that's awesome. I can't stop looking at the Gloomspite Gits at the moment.
They're a lot of fun because they've got a bit of everything.
But anyway, in Age of Sigmar, a lot of the old gods are coming back. Like a lot of the old elf gods are coming back, even though Games Workshop was like, "Oh, they're dead forever." Turns out, nope, they're not. they're coming back. Games Workshop, full of shit as usual.
Yeah, so Battle Times was a really big project within the studio, and we've tried to look at them from front to back to make them visually different, a lot more content in there from a background and a rules point of view.
I still, there's a part of me that really wishes that Games Workshop would make their rules books.
Not just visual, but there's going
to I almost wish their rules books would be separate to their lore books.
Lore, obviously, the Age of Sigmar storyline progresses
like,
on. We tell you new things.
Because I would love to buy their lore books just being these nice, big, thick books, and them not always being tied to rules.
But also lots of little new nuggets.
But I don't think they're ever going to do that.
Sounds incredible. Thank you. So we've talked a little bit about Skaven and about the Stormcast Eternals. What does the rest of 2024 look like?
Yeah, what does the rest of this year look like?
So we've got a new Chaos Battle Tome on the way, and a new narrative book as well.
Okay, when you say new,
very much like
when you say new Chaos book, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Sort of have those really thematic.
Like a new faction, or just like, oh, it's another book.
2024. Obviously, 2025 is rushing in on us. What can you tell us about a glimpse of the future?
More battle tomes, more spearheads, starting with destruction and then death. So the fans of those Grand Alliances have got a lot to look forward to.
Awesome, that sounds great.
Like, is this my long-awaited Chaos Dwarf book?
Roadmap for the future. That's awesome.
Or is this just like?
Go anywhere. We'll be right back. Warhammer
No,
4000 beckons.
No, I don't care. Oh my god. No, go back. Oh, okay. They're just jumping right in. Okay, I'm gonna turn this down because I just don't care. Okay, I'm gonna read this article real quick. So I'm gonna have this up. But I'm not gonna block what they're doing in case they show some minis, because I'm always available to laugh at them. So let's see what they've got going on with the Warriors of Chaos. Warriors of Chaos, the lowest faction for Warhammer the Old World. These implacable, ironclad barbarians have been absent from the affairs of man, elf, and dwarf for a few centuries. The machinations of their dark patrons thwarted for the time being. But as the Empire of Man falls to infighting and civil war, a power vacuum emerges. Okay, yada yada yada. Find out what the followers of the ruinous powers have been up to since Be'lakor made his ill-starred bid for power in Mordheim. Okay, they're talking about Mordheim. Chaos in the old world is not like in the mortal realms before the first millennium. We're focusing on Chaos Undivided rather than specific gods. Four distinct powers you see in Age of Sigmar are indicative of Chaos Victorious, whereas Undivided is, in a sense, more chaotic. It harkens back to the proto-chaos of the old world before the individual gods started appearing. The voices of the individual gods are less clear during this time. They don't have their... What the fuck? They don't have their own devoted followers, and their demons aren't abroad. Instead, we're dealing with the writhing mass of Chaos Undivided. Chaos is definitely weaker during this time period, but it's building up towards the time in which it becomes strong. We've compared this time period in the past to the Horus Heresy. What Horus and Erebus really achieved was to reintroduce chaos into the galaxy after the Emperor had all but wiped it out. Same thing hasn't quite happened in the old world, but the 11th Everchosen didn't get to ascend to his position because he had been possessed by Be'lakor. That single event... Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. That single event derailed the great game of the god for centuries, weakening their grasp on the world. Huh. So that's interesting. I will say that clearly they're trying to say, like, okay, we don't want to do individual books. Like, we just want to have a chaos book. We don't want to do a Khorne book and a Nurgle book and all that other shit. We just want a chaos book. But to come out and say that to come out and say they don't have their own devoted followers, what the fuck? Okay. That's not correct. Like, that's just wrong, but okay, whatever. That does not make any fucking sense, but alright, let's keep reading. Gods have been biding their time. What's a few hundred years in the lifespan of such a being? It's only the actions of Asvar Kul, the 12th Everchosen, that put the great game back on track. Because his predecessor, Cardun the Gloried, was not allowed to do what he needed to do, it left a gap. During that time, the enemies of Chaos fought back, leading to a lull. That lost power now creeping. Okay, so I'll say that the idea that Cardun was the 11th Everchosen, but Be'lakor possesses him, and that fucks everything up, especially because he gets trapped in Mordheim, and then he dies and everything. It just super fucked everything up. I'm okay with that. It's a choice. It's a choice, but it's like, all right, that's fine. That's an interesting way to explain that Be'lakor's machinations can have consequences for chaos. That's interesting. Okay. Shadow of Chaos is receding across the world. Threats looming once more, and warbands are on the march. The Northern Marauders still raid, but they are barbaric warriors whose gods do not necessarily have their names spoken aloud. We've brought back references to the totemic animals such as the carrion crow and the great eagle. Okay, that's cool. Great. Awesome. Fine. So that okay, that's interesting. So that reinforces Total War Warhammer. So Total War Warhammer pushed ahead with the idea when they made Norska, because they've pretty much revealed that Norska is a faction within this book. So when Creative Assembly brought forward Norska, they decided to run with the idea that you kind of see talked about in the Tome of Corruption from 2nd edition, where the Norskins don't know the Chaos Gods as Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, and Slaanesh. They know them as totemic animals. So in this case, it'd be the Carrion Crow is Nurgle, the Great Eagle is Tzeentch, I think it's like the Alluring Serpent or something like that is Slaanesh, and then the like the Great Hound or the Brutal Hound or whatever it is Khorne. So that's fine. I'm totally cool with that. I'm 100% cool with that. It speaks to a deeper understanding of chaos that the shamans and sorcerers might have, but with the regular tribesmen lack. It wouldn't be acknowledged head-on that certain tribes worshiping Khorne, for instance. Cool, fine, whatever. Business of Chaos continue, of course. There's still champions battling at the top of the world. There's still warbands that roam the Chaos Wastes and the Shadowlands. There's enough to keep the gods busy, and whispers are now drifting about a great champion. There's something very threatening about the idea of an Everchosen, a mighty Everchosen champion chosen by the Dark Gods for some unknown purpose, leading black-armored Chaos Warriors and hordes of Marauders. They only come along every couple centuries. Each one has a particular role to fulfill. We don't know what Cardun would have done, and we don't know what most of the 10 did before him. That's true. Asvar Kul is significant because he sets the stage for Arcane, who is always going to be the one to destroy the world. There are a lot of deep, dark secrets about what Kul gets up to, which we won't talk about publicly. At present, he's a figure in the background, a name on the wind. He hasn't yet, in the 2270s, become a threat to the known world, but he's a powerful warlord in the north. Fair. That's okay, fair. He's still gathering his forces and doing all of his stuff. Cool. He's building up to being ever chosen. Before him, you'll get the rise of his lieutenants in different parts of the world, and before that, you'll get to see the rise of their lieutenants. Okay, so they're giving us some interesting stuff of that. So they've basically said, okay, so we're starting 2 layers away from the Great War. We're not starting with Asvarkul. We're not starting with the 4. Actually, it's actually more than that. But we're not starting with like the legion of lieutenants that Asvarkul has, where you have your Ingra Death Swords, your I don't understand. Like, whoever wrote this article, I'm curious how the book's gonna phrase it. But whoever wrote this article is they put it really stupid. Well, okay, okay, hold on. Let me finish the article because they literally bring up some stupid shit that just it immediately takes what they said at the beginning of the article and makes it not make sense. So, okay, before him, you get the rise of his lieutenants in different parts of the world, and before that, you get the rise of their lieutenants, which is where we start with this Arcane Journal. With Feardal the Chainmaker, one of the 2 characters in the book. Feardal is featured in the narrative, and she's joined by a returning character, Galrach the Great Drake. He's perhaps the first great dragon to fall to Chaos, turned in battle alongside the High Elves many years ago. There are other Chaos champions you might recognize in operation during this time as well. Arbal the Undefeated is known to have been involved in the Siege of Prague, for instance. You have all of Kill's lieutenants, too. Ingra Deathsword, Sven the Bloody-Handed, and others. This also includes Valnir the Reaper. So, oh yeah, they literally say Valnir the Reaper is alive at this time. So is Sila Anfingrim. He becomes a spawn right before the siege, but he's still a Norse warlord fighting in the background during our period. This doesn't mean we're going to focus on any of these characters, of course, but they're there in the world, and we have the option to bring them into the narrative. As time progresses, there may be opportunity to encounter named characters who are recognized in the world of legend. For now, the spotlight is on Feardal and what she's doing north of the Empire. This article is so stupid. This is a stupid-ass article. They literally started off by saying, oh, well, in this time in the world, the individual gods have not appeared, which doesn't make any fucking sense. And the voices are less clear. They don't have their own devoted followers. What? Oh, but we are going to have Arbal the Undefeated, you know, the Axe of Khorne. We're also going to have Valnir the Reaper, one of the mightiest champions of Nurgle to ever live. Like, yeah, you know, we're still going to have all your favorite Old World. Old World. Here we go.
I'm joined now
Dumb
by Dan
article.
from the Warhammer Old
Poorly
World
written.
Dan's part of the group
Dumb.
that write all of the rules and the lore
Dumb,
for the
dumb,
Old World
dumb,
game.
dumb,
It's lovely
dumb,
to have you
dumb,
with us.
dumb.
Thanks for having me, Adam.
My pleasure. It's been an amazing year for Warhammer the Old World. We've seen this renaissance of a system and a setting that I particularly love. How have you found it so far?
It's been wonderful to welcome everybody back to the world of legend. It's
Decent
one of
game.
our
I wish
sort of beloved
I wish it
IPs,
wasn't
something that
almost
we as a
purely
team
nostalgia
really
bait,
enjoyed
but
delving
decent
back
game.
into.
Yeah, absolutely. So since sort of it returned, what have we seen so far? What have people been able to get involved with?
Barely
So
anything.
We've seen the release of the core game, and alongside that, we had our launch boxes for the Bretonians and the Tomb Kings, which went out really well. They were very popular, and people were really excited by the content. We followed that up with the Orc and Goblin Tribes, the Arcane Journal format, and again, the content in there, people seem to be really, really.
I
resonating with,
hate
so
the
we're
Arcane
happy with
Journals.
how
I'm gonna
that's
be
been
honest.
going.
I hate these
And
things
then
so
we
much.
Just most recently had the Dwarven Mountain Holds return.
For me, I'm super excited by those. Some of the miniatures in the Warhammer Dwarfs range.
I have a
They're
rant
actually
about the
first
green skin
miniatures
book here in a
I
minute.
ever bought from
Really?
Games Workshop way back in the day. A tiny little.
Andy, that's exactly the same face I made when reading that article. Yeah.
Dwarfs, so delightful to see.
Certainly a
what have you been
choice.
doing
Yeah.
yourself? Come on, have you dipped your toe in? What's your
Yeah,
army of choice?
absolutely. I mean, when you work at Games Workshop and at Warhammer World especially, it's hard not.
Biofoot, thank you for the super chat. Just play Nighthaunt. They're really strong. Oh, good. That's exciting. I need to get back to painting. Nighthaunt. I have this little doohickey here that's gonna let me stream my
placing
camera a
all the
lot
printers
better.
and then racing off again.
So I'm gonna do that at some point.
Turnip farmers don't know what's coming.
They really don't.
I love it. That sounds amazing. So we've had lots of great stuff in 2024 already. What can we expect to see before the end of the year?
Well, hot on the heels of the Dwarf launch, we have the Warriors of Chaos making their return to the old world.
Awesome.
We're in an interesting time period in the setting at the moment where Chaos has been waning in power a little bit, but with the
2270
chosen and that doom approaching, Chaos is on the rise again, and we begin to cover that in the Chaos Arcane Journal.
That's very exciting. We're on the approach from a historical point of view to a very exciting time within Warhammer's sort of setting and chronology, aren't we?
Absolutely. The Siege of Prague and the
I mean, I will say it still feels so much like we're in the prequel
before we reach that climactic
to the old world. Like it feels like the setting hasn't actually started yet. We're just in the prequel to it.
Following the narrative in the Arcane Journals, we'll see that we've been sort of jumping all over the place and really enjoying the sandpit of this time period we have to look at.
That's really exciting. So Chaos Warriors within 2024. If we look a little bit further out, sort of beyond the horizon, as it were, what can you tell us about what the future holds?
Well, it would be improper, really, for us to follow the Warriors of Chaos with anything other than the Empire of Man.
Oh, interesting. They're doing the Empire next. I thought they were going to save the Empire for last.
Been around, so again, it just made absolute
sense.
Man,
that book is going to cause Andy so much suffering. I just know it is.
It's been really exciting having you come and join us, Dan.
That's interesting. So
some amazing stuff from the studios about Warhammer 40,000, Warhammer Age of Sigmar, the Age of Darkness, and the Old World. But we've also got loads on the way for our other systems.
That's weird. So they did. I was expecting them to show minis. It looks like they're just kind of talking about what's coming up. I'm surprised the Empire's coming up now. I figured the Empire they were gonna wait until. They were going to wait until the end. Because... So, who do they have left? They still have to do Beastmen. They still have to do... They still have to do Beastmen. They still have to do High Elves. This Nova is weird. Like, they're doing a lot of recap of what they've released this year. The Chaos Dwarfs, I think, are like the only actual new thing we've really seen. We've got one more reveal. Wow, okay, this is a weird Nova.
You remember, if you want to stay up to date with the
Games Workshop's got like nothing to show.
Now, let's see that extra special final reveal.
All right, what do we got here? Oh, Lord of the Rings. Okay. What a weird show. Oh, yeah, Wood Elves and High Elves. Yeah, so Wood Elves, High Elves, and Beastmen are all that's left. That's a nice looking mini. Looks cool. Wolf? Vampire Coast? We wish. We wish. It was one model? What? Bro. Just looking at the chat. Oh my god, look at the chat. Everyone is so so mad. What was that reveal show? What the fuck? What? Oh my god. That was... Wow. That was terrible. They didn't show anything. They literally showed... I think they showed like 3 or 4 new Stormcast Eternal minis. And they showed the Chaos Dwarfs. And that was it. Oh my god. Wow, that's crazy. Wow, that was not worth coming online, was it? Oh, Jesus. So, I do want to say a couple of quick things about the old world, though. I will say that the Arcane Journals, they're very frustrating. they're very, very, very frustrating to read. They have so many mistakes and so many errors, which is just so unacceptable considering how fucking tiny they are. Like, they have really obvious errors, despite the fact that they are pathetically small books with barely anything in them. Like, a really good example is actually the Greenskin Arcane journal, right? If you read the Greenskin Arcane journal, there are mistakes on the map that are so silly that it beggars belief. Where, like, if you open the Greenskin Arcane journal, and in the lore section you're reading about, like, the different Greenskin strongholds, if you read the section about Black Crag, it talks about that Black Crag is currently under the control of the Bloody Tusk tribe, which you go, okay, fine, like, that's whatever. Like, the Red Fang tribe under Gorfang probably is not going to take control until, you know, for at least, like, another 100 years or so. Though, it would be cool to see Gorfang, like, around, even though he'd be, like, a lot smaller and not as, you know, he wouldn't be what he is. But it'd be cool to see, like, a Gorfang reference. But you go, okay, that's fine. So the Bloody Tusk control it. But if you look at the map, right? If you look at the map that they have of the Greenskin tribes, the Bloody Tusk tribe is on the map. But they're not at Black Crag. They're at the Pale Sisters, which is up in Bretonnia. And it's like, oh, hold up. How can the Bloody Tusk tribe of Greenskins be in northern Bretonnia and be the controlling faction of Black Crag in the Badlands? And then you go, oh, well, maybe there's something, and, like, you just see a bunch of stupid mistakes. Like, they have the Red-Eye Night Goblins. The Red-Eye Night Goblins, who are the controlling goblins of Red-Eye Mountain, and the reason it's called Red-Eye Mountain is because of the Red-Eye Night Goblins. But the Red-Eye Night Goblins are, like, in, like, the Middle Mountains, or, like, the Black Mountains or something. There's some stupid fucking goofy-ass location. The Crooked Moon tribe, who are supposed to control, even back then, they should be either close to or already controlling areas around Carrick 8 Peaks. The Crooked Moon tribe is at Mount Gunbad. Which, like, why? Why are they in Mount Gunbad? Like, whoever made the map just took a bunch of really famous Greenskin tribes and just, like, shook them up like a handful of dice and just threw them on the map. And wherever they went, they went. Like, they're completely not paying attention to the lore they're writing. And they're also not paying attention to, like, the lore that came before it. Isn't that where he starts at Total War 3? Yes, but that's, like, a Scarstick has wandered away thing. The faction, if you go actually play the game, the faction in control of Carrick 8 Peaks at the start of the game is still the Crooked Moon. It's just the Crooked Moon mutinous gets, but it's still a Crooked Moon tribe. I thought the Broken Teeth had Black Crag at this time. I think, if I remember correctly, Gorfang seizes control of the Broken Teeth tribe. Like, he busts them up and takes over with the Red Fangs. But that isn't going to happen for, like, a good 100, 150 years. So, like, there's time. It's fine for, like, the Bloody Tusks to be there. But, like, GW is just, they're not paying attention to their own stuff. Which is just, it's just annoying to see. Like, the people who are writing the lore are not referencing their own maps. And if they're not referencing their own maps, then why have any maps? It's just silly. It's just silly. Who was first, Gorfang or Grom? Grom by a long shot. Like, Gorfang is likely somewhere in the ballpark of, like, several hundred years old, based on the lore we have about him. But I would be able to bet you, like, a hilarious amount of money that nobody at Games Workshop has thought about that. Because they don't have a person on staff whose job is to read all the other lore and be like, okay, we should do this storyline. We should do this storyline. Hey, if you're going to talk about this place, then you need to be thinking about, like, this is something Andy and I have talked about a lot, is that Games Workshop, frankly, just doesn't give a shit about doing their lore justice, because they just don't care. And they don't want to pay someone to do any of that. But anyway, so that was terrible. Wow. Like, the only thing I saw that I was like, oh, was probably like the new Stormcast Griffin monster, and the Chaos Dwarf team was nice. But like, wow, that was a terrible reveal show. The new Stormcast minis look cool. Dude, the 40k players must be, like, so butthurt. Like, understandably. Because that reveal show was like, hey, we're going to tell you there's going to be cool 40k stuff. And there was not, like, a single new mini. Oh my god. Rehire Andy to handle the lore. Hey, like, yes, I agree. But also, like, you know, I would be happy to be a lore check-in guy for very cheap. My rates would be insanely cheap. I would be so cheap. You wouldn't have to pay me a lot of money at all, as long as I could do it from home. If I could work from Texas and I didn't have to move over there, I would be the cheapest hire. They could pay me dirt, which we all know is Games Workshop's favorite thing, is to pay people as little as possible. Why don't I like Warhammer 40k? Because it's boring. Because it's literally just about Space Marines. And Space Marines are boring. Very, very boring. It's like, I could enjoy a world of so many different creatures and aliens and species and all this other stuff, and instead I get the same stupid ass fat muscle dudes in ridiculous armor and every time they paint it a different color for some reason that warrants an entirely new book. Ridiculous. And GW doesn't even... Games Workshop feels like they've lost the plot with Space Marines. Like, they don't even know what they want to do with them. Because every time I see Space Marines, I look over at the Stormcast Eternals. Like, the Stormcast Eternals, to me, it's like, oh, that's what Games Workshop wants Space Marines to be. But, like, they can't do that. Because it wouldn't work without, like, just absolutely mind-bending retcons. Will we see new Gotrek and Felix novels? I really doubt it. I really, really, really doubt it. Well, like, Gotrek and Felix wouldn't make sense right now, because we're in the old world where Gotrek and Felix is not a thing. Like, Gotrek probably hasn't been born yet. Felix has definitely not been born yet. So, I would very much say, yeah. Anywho, Wow, I don't really know what to... So, anywho, isn't 40K's lore all written for the POV of the Imperium? I wouldn't say all of it, but a lot of it. A lot of it. But, like, sometimes it's written from the point of view of, like, the Tau or the Eldar stuff, which I wish they did more of. Because it would be nice. You know, it'd be nice to have some... Here's the thing. If you're gonna make me a meal, you gotta have other flavors. You gotta have other stuff going on. If it's just the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, yeah, you just get sick of it. I don't understand how people aren't sick of Space Marines. I'll never understand it. It's just wild to me. Okay, so, well, that's done. So, wow, that was so bad. That was such a terrible reveal show. That was the worst reveal show I think GW has ever done. And I got at least some things that I thought were pretty cool, you know, like, Chaos Dwarfs, cool. New Stormcast minis, cool. But, even then, it was pretty lackluster. They didn't even have, like, the roadmap section. They didn't even have, like, visual aids. Like, it would have been nice of, like, oh, here's the next year for Old World, or here's the next year of AOS. Like, good lord, that was terrible. Anyway, I'm gonna skedaddle, I guess, because there's no point doing that. I'm gonna check in with my family, just because we've unfortunately been dealing with some really not good family news. One of my relatives has gotten very, very sick. So I'm gonna go check in and make sure everybody's doing all right and everything. And then when I come back, I think I'm gonna play some Final Fantasy. So, yeah. Anywho, hope you all have a lovely day. Just a reminder that the old one, Lorebeards episode, will be on Sunday at the usual time. We're hoping we'll have everything fixed by then. We should have everything fixed by then. Yeah. Wow. That was 45 minutes. I will not get back. Thank you, GW. Jesus. All right. Bye, guys. Oh, Lord. Yeah, I'll be back in like 15, 20 minutes. All right, bye.